Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a different type of video. I'm going to be reviewing every North Melbourne game and telling you who a potential Brownlow shout is. And I'm talking about the man who needs no introduction, the one who is hidden behind the likes of Nick Dacos, who is the same age, Harry Sheezel. Now, Harry Sheezel has been going so under the radar this year, and I'm going to be reading out to you what games he's played thus far and how well he has played, because to be completely honest with you, he's just not getting the recognition that he deserves because he plays for a team that A, never wins, and B, is just never in those big games watched by many people. The first game, the Giants got not demolished, but they lost by 40 points to the GWS Giants, or 39 points, basically 40 points. And when we look at Harry Sheezel, he got 32 touches, 23 of those were kicks, which I think is important to note, alongside 9 marks, which is a phenomenal outing. He did get a tackle as well. He gained 755 meters, which, if I'm correct, was the most. 755 meters. The next best that game was Cornelio with 548. So he's gained over 200 meters more than the second best player. Now, the thing that holds Harry Sheezel back is he's probably not that forward player. He's that defender, midfielder type, hybrid sort of player. So he's not going to get those goals and those goal assists. But this was just the first game. And now we all know how good Harry Sheezel is. And I always wonder, why does he just not get that recognition? So that was round 1. They didn't play in the opening round, North Melbourne. Round 2, they came up against the Fremantle Football Club, where they did lose by 26 points. So again, pretty comfortably defeated. This time, Harry Sheezel cooked differently. Now, he got 35 touches, which was the equal most alongside Caleb Sarong that game. But we all know Caleb Sarong, because the game before he got 46 touches. All the eyes were on him, not on Harry Sheezel, who had 35 touches, 17 kicks of those 35 touches. So not as many kicks this time, 18 handballs, a little bit more handballs. He got the 6 marks and the 4 tackles. So he always gets a lot of marks and generally gets quite a few tackles. 527 meters gained, which was the 3rd most that game. And once again, he was just on fire that game. And these are all stats. A lot of these sort of who's a good player, who's not a good player, should be governed not only by stats, but also through the eye and through the vision. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. A little bit like this. Do you see that play and you think is good? And I look at Harry Sheezel when he plays, and I think he's an outstanding footballer who is playing well ahead of his age. A bit like Nick Dacos as well. But like I already said, Nick Dacos is just getting all the love from that draft year, not Harry Sheezel. Now, next up, we've got the North Melbourne Football Club, who took on Carlton. They lost by 56 points. This was round 3, so relatively recently. Easily demolished once again. You would think the likes of Paddy Cripps, Walsh, those sorts of players would demolish the midfield of North Melbourne. But once again, Harry Sheezel stood up, this time getting the most disposals that game with 32. The next best, Tom Powell, with 29, so he demolished that. He had the most kicks at 20 kicks. The next best, Tom Powell, with 15. So ahead of that stat as well. He had the 3rd most marks that game with 8 marks, which is remarkable because, the likes of Harry Mackay exist, Charlie Curnow, and he got the 5 tackles as well. Such an outstanding player with such a consistent game to him. He always gets the touches, he has the influence, he gets the meters gained. This time, he was 2nd. Only Blake Acres had more meters gained, but he had the next best at 516. He's always top 3 of meters gained, top 3 of disposals, top 3 of kicks, top 3 of marks. This guy needs to be spoken about more, and it's a little bit annoying that he's not really spoken about all that much, but he needs to be, because this guy is cooking. He's cooking a different sort of feast. We'll move on to round 4, last round, or the round that just finished. They are playing Geelong this week, North Melbourne, at the time of recording, so he could have another outstanding game. Round 4, they played Brisbane, and we all know what happened at Brisbane. They got fucked up. 70 points, 112 to 42. Neil, Dunkley, they have such a strong midfield there. One of the best midfielders in the comp, So you'd be thinking Sheezel, he can't have a good game. Well, he does. He has another good game. 35 touches. What the actual fuck? Only Hugh McCluggage had more at 36. In terms of the kicks, he had the 3rd most with 19. And he had the 3rd most handballs with 16. So he's consistently getting many handballs, mostly kicks. He had the 5th most marks, and he had not the most amount of tackles. There were a lot of tackles that game. Meters gained. He had the most meters gained by quite a margin, 616. The next best, was Darcy Tucker with 500 174. So now you all know that Harry Sheezel is having a severely underrated season. Now, the problem, like I already mentioned with him, is he just doesn't hit the scoreboard enough. He doesn't have the goals. He doesn't enter the attacking third of the field enough to warrant any sort of award, because we all know those awards are won by midfielders who can go forward and influence the scoreboard. But he does influencing on the scoreboard in the opposite way, in a defensive way, and that never tends to get great sort of approval. Now, if we look at the fantasy points, right now Harry Sheezel is third on average with 122. Sarong and Merritt are above him. Merritt's only on 123, so there's one different. We look at disposals, average disposals per game. He's sitting in third with 33.5. 1 and 2 are both 33.8, which are Nick Martin and Caleb Sarong. Nick Martin takes kickouts, so you can't really count him, so only Sarong's having a better midfield season disposal-wise, you would say, than Harry Sheezel. Harry Sheezel is 25th in average marks with 7.3 average marks, which is also remarkable because he's just so multi-layered, this guy. Harry Sheezel has the most effective disposals this season with 113. And for players who have only played 4 games, which is most teams and most players, he's third for meters gained. Luke Ryan is ahead of him, who is, he kicks everything he gets. I don't think he's ever handballed the ball. And also ahead of him is Riley Bonner, which is actually quite surprising. So that is a little short snippet into why I think Harry Sheezel is one of the most underrated players in the competition at the moment. It's as simple as that. He is so severely underrated, and it is about time that he gets the recognition he deserves. Unfortunately, he'll never win an award because, like I've already mentioned, he plays for North Melbourne, who aren't a good team. They aren't a big team either, so they don't play on the big stage, and he just doesn't hit the scoreboard enough. But put this on note, Harry Sheezel is having an outstanding season, and if he continues on this form, this trajectory where he's influencing multiple parts on the pitch and in multiple different ways, then he needs to get that recognition, okay? Because at the moment, the recognition goes to just particular big midfielders who go up forward. Give those defensive midfielder hybrid players some more love. That's the video. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow the TikTok FTFooty, and I'll be seeing you in another video where I go through Harry Sheezel again, because he's going to get 40 touches against the Cats.